Well, hello again. Sunday afternoon, and just need to get a few things from the 7-Eleven rather than take the little scooter. I want to take a bit of a walk and have a bit of a chat. Okay, so I did throw out in the last video the whole idea of questions and answers. Throw me some questions that you want answering. So I thought I'd do that in this video. Cue the intro, and we'll be back in a second. Anyway, so it's come up, two people have asked similar questions about permanent residency and the retirement style visa, which is what I state here in Thailand. And just wanted to clarify that one there, because it does get a bit confusing, and I better look at some of these legal sites to try to sort of make out what they're talking about as well. And this is really where I'm coming from, because I'm no expert on this stuff as well. But when it comes down to staying in Thailand, one of the options you've got, if you're over 50 years old, just got to make sure I don't get run over here. If you're over 50 years old, you've got the option of what they call a retirement visa. Now that's not permanent residency. It's a classification visa that you apply for initially in your own country, and there's some sort of discrepancy in the way that they word that on the different websites, where they say you need to have you have to obviously show financial stability to the point that they want to see that you have the equivalent of 800,000 baht in a Thai bank account before you come here. Which sort of doesn't really make sense, because you really can't open a Thai bank account until you're actually in the country to start with. So it's a bit confusing. Anyway, so when I applied for mine in I think it was July 2016, and I was applying in Australia, and every country is different. All I needed to show there was that I had financial assets equivalent to that money in my Australian bank accounts, right? And although they said that they wanted to see that stability for the previous 3 months, well, I'd only just taken, like I'd had probably 30,000, something like that, in one of my accounts and a couple of other investments, but the bulk of my money wasn't really settled until after I'd actually applied for the visa, which is a bit strange, but this didn't seem to worry them. Of course, that money was then reinvested. I'm sure everybody must have killed me today. Anyway, yeah, so working on that sort of status there. Don't worry about the fact that they say that you need the money in a Thai bank account. As long as what they're looking for your ability to support yourself for 12 months in Thailand, which is the equivalent of 800,000 baht. 7-Eleven, I'm just going to go get some stuff. Got myself an ice cream and a few bits of junk food. Anyway, so yeah, getting a bit of a sun glare on that one. Yeah, so the first thing you need to do is show financial stability to get the what they call the retirement visa, right? That retirement visa status, or the monetary side of it, it has to be verified every 12 months when you do the renewal, and when you come to do the renewal, you've got to show that that money has been in your bank account for the previous 3 months. That is a prerequisite for getting the renewal. I think that's basically to show the fact that you just haven't borrowed the money from a loan shark for a week and then give it back to him with a sort of minimal interest or something like that. Because that sort of stuff does go on over here as well. Got a lot of magnums, I tell you. Other things I needed to do is get what they call a police verification check to show that I was an upstanding citizen in Australia and wasn't in trouble with the law anyway. And the other thing that was kind of difficult, or an inconvenience, was a medical certificate. If I don't hit it fast, it's going to melt. Yeah, so the medical certificate, what they needed to do there, they needed to verify that I didn't have 4 diseases and make sure I was not into an alcoholic or something like that. So I think there was elephantitis, syphilis, I can't remember what they were now. There's 4 things, plus they wanted to make sure you weren't into narcotics and all that sort of stuff. Although alcohol's a pretty of a problem over here in Thailand, they wanted to make sure that if you're coming for a retirement visa, you weren't an existing alcoholic, I guess. So aside from that, you pay, I think it was, I asked for a multi-entry visa. It's cost me $225, I think it was, Australian. That was all there was, you know, it took 3 days. Goes in, they check it, comes out, and away basically it's all over and done with. Now that's different to the whole, what do you call it, permanent residency thing. Permanent residency is a sort of it's a strange classification that seems to not get much discussion anywhere. From my understanding, and I'm not an expert on this, you need to have been living in Thailand for a minimum of 3 years. Right, once you've been living here for 3 years, you can then apply for the permanent residency status. Now, when they say apply for it, they only take in 100 national or foreign nationals per country every year, which basically means the fact that if you're an Australian and you know 120 people have applied, only the first 100 people will be accepted, and those they've all got to have lived here for 3 years prior. This is going to melt very quickly. So it is an option, and it's probably something I'll look at doing when my 3 years is up. Because I have no real intention of going back to Australia. There's nothing for me in Australia. My daughter, I miss my daughter, but she pretty much made her own way in her own life and distanced herself from the family as much as she could anyway in her lifestyle, which is all good for her. We taught her to be very independent. We didn't expect her to be that independent in her life, but that's the way she likes it, so we're not going to interfere. One of my fellow vloggers in Thailand said I could do more eating videos. Does ice cream count? He says Thais love eating videos. I got no idea why. Anyway, so just finishing that off, yeah. So you've got the retirement visa, right, which is renewable every year. They've got extensions to that. They've now got the 5 and 10 year retirement visas. They have a different financial requirement, and they also have a verification process where you need to show that you've got your own personal medical insurance. 1 year visa doesn't require you to have medical insurance. I've got a feeling at some stage they may bring that in, because there's a lot of that sort of stuff going on now, and people are just not really sort of taking care of themselves. But that's another thing altogether. When it's a requirement, then it's a requirement. When it gets past the age of 60 or 70 or something like that, they won't accept you anyway. So what happens? It stops retirement visa being given to people. I don't know. Something will change there. These things are quite flexible, and it's something that you've got to get used to in Thailand. You'll talk to many different people about different things, and you'll get different opinions. As I said, these are just what I've encountered and what I've discovered over the last 2 years, and just only from my perspective. Probably the people I've talked to are the people that sort of maybe do know the process or what, I don't know. But as I said, so far so good. But the retirement, the permanent residency is an option if you put in the time, and then once you've got the permanent residency, you can get what they call a nationality, or what they call permanent nationality or something. I'm not quite sure exactly what the terminology is. It just basically says that you are now a Thai national. You've got to have the permanent residency, and then you've got to sit, like an exam, reading, writing, literacy, and general knowledge of Thailand. You've got to be able to sort of recite the national anthem, and probably even sort of know how to sort of say the full name of Bangkok, for all I know. I don't know anybody that's actually done that. I do know that people have done it and have successfully completed it, but they could speak fluent Thai, and they could read and write, and they could probably sing too. But yeah, whether there's any real great benefit, I think the only great benefit of that is you might be able to own land. I don't know. It's the sort of thing. It's like, I don't think I can. I think I've got to wait 3 years or 2 years after I got permanent residency before I can even apply or even go down that road. So it's something to look forward in the future if I feel up to it. But as I said, I'm not inconvenienced by having the. For all I need here, the retirement visa is all that I require. It gives me the freedom and flexibility to live in the country quite happily, alongside with my Tabian Barn and my foreign ID card. It seems to get me all the benefits that I need here in Thailand without any real worries. So why complicate things? Why go back to school? But anyway, so hopefully that answers the questions that were asked there about permanent residency and retirement. And look forward to more of your questions, guys. Yes, again, don't forget, the website. You just click on there on the website. You can, get the push notifications, because I always publish the videos unlisted prior to the release days on YouTube, so you get advance warning if you're on my website. I also publish early on Facebook, so if you're a friend on Facebook or follow our business page on Facebook, again you get to be first on the on the commenters. And that's it, guys. The more you ask questions and the more you comment below, right, this will help me build my channel. So anything at all, questions, I'm quite happy to do what I can to answer those, and I will, as more questions come in and are fielded by the viewers, we'll do more sit-down stuff on a weekly basis or at some sort of level of schedule, and we'll work out how to sort of cover those questions and answers type topics. Not sure what time Chanya gets home tonight. We might go into the Big C and have pizza tonight. I don't know yet. We might video that. Haven't done a walk around our local market there for a couple of months, or at least a month or so. I know people like to sort of see the markets every so often. But on Tuesday we're trying to organise a ride out. There's a national park out in Phetchaburi, if I can say that right. So that's going west of where I live here. I'm a member of one of these Facebook groups, which is what they call the Foreign Motorcycle Riders Group, and so I've made a few friends there, and somebody's organising these rides every couple of weeks, and the ride we're organising this coming Tuesday, simply because of the fact that I believe Tuesday is a public holiday. Unfortunately, Chanya says she can't make it on the ride, because we've also got our real estate agent coming around to do our annual renewal of the lease here. So somebody has to do the signing of the paperwork, and it's not up to me because it's not in my name. Anyway, guys, so hopefully it wasn't too ums and ahs in that one, and we'll catch you next video. Bye for now.